before we get into anything, guys, let's talk about what we've got this weekend. Chip, you got a tremendous offer that starts on Thursday, goes all the way through the weekend, and includes the game of the year.
Yeah, it does, Dave. And you know what? I have to bounce back off a horrific weekend, one of my worst weekends in recent memory, and came back with big-time winners in midweek college football. But this weekend on Saturday, we'll start with Thursday night with the NFL contest. This is all part of the $15 weekend for you. Friday's game and Saturday, my home team advantage game of the year for college football action. And, of course, NFL Megabucks on Sunday. All for only $15, Dave. Quite a bargain. You can pay $499 for any one of these games individually. We're going to give the entire week. And a guarantee with this game of the year that if I don't win this game, you get November for free. $15, 866-841-1665.
I've been doing well. I'm just going to leave it at that. And I love this time of year because there's so much to choose from. You can really zero in on what you feel are the best plays. You don't have to force anything. You get NFL, college football, NBA, college basketball. Well, listen, the numbers work. The research pays off. This is going to be a solid bottom line weekend for everybody who's on my stuff. I mean, there's basically no doubt in my mind I'm going to win pretty good this weekend. And I know I'm ahead of the curve in college basketball to start off. So I'm going to tell you about two things. First, on college basketball. This is the last chance to get in on this rate. It's my $99 full season early bird special. This gets you all my action plays in college basketball for the whole season. And I have more action plays than anything else. So you're looking at about roughly, can't give you an exact number, but probably about 50 cents per play over the course of the season. 50 cents per selection for the entire season. So take advantage of that now because that offer is gone as of Friday when the season starts. 1-866-896-1629 is the number to call for the college basketball special. And then on football, I've got 2 college conference games of the month. Those are big plays. And my NFL total of the year will also go on Sunday. And I had a very good year on the super totals. Already won the college football super total of the year, college game of the year. This is my NFL super total of the year. All 3 of those for $20 if you call today. And if you sign up today, you're also going to get a bonus TV winner going tonight. 1-866-896-1629. Now, Jim, wow, this is, I can tell when you know you've got a card nailed when you put out a guarantee like this. You got a 5-game package, and you're guaranteeing the worst you can do. The worst you can do is 4-1. That sounds strong.
Well, Dave, thank you. This is a very exciting time of the year for all of us sports handicappers and bettors. You got pro basketball starting up. You got college basketball coming up this weekend. My football packages, college and pro, have been really, really good this year. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it strong. I got 5 monster plays, 3 in college, including my conference game of the month, and 2 NFL plays on Sunday, which includes my Sunday night game of the year. A play that I got down on very early because I felt they really made a mistake with this number. And that's what you have to do when you see a number. And I'm not going to say it's a bad number. I just disagree with it, vehemently disagree with it. So I made a huge play on a side here. And all 5 of these plays, including that big one, for $19. $19. And here's the guarantee that you get. As you mentioned, Dave, you must go at least 4-1. You can go 5-0 too, but you have to go at least 4-1, or the rest of November football executive service plays are free on me. Plus, the first 100 callers get basketball as a bonus. That's 1-866-841-1655. 5 big plays, $19 plus a guarantee, 4-1 or better. Or executive service free through November. And the first 100 callers get a bonus. 1-866-841-1655. Dave, we got some good stuff to talk about today.
We do, and we have Big Al has now joined us as well to chime in with his thoughts as we'll look at these games today. And before we do that, right now we're telling everybody what we've got this weekend, Big Al, and the Fortune 500s, they just keep rolling along, and you've got a huge one going on Saturday, Game of the Year.
I do, Dave. The Fortune 500s have been solid for years now. In college football, I think the record's 89-43 going back to 2005. These games go for $500 online. And if you sign up early, you're going to get this play for just $10, along with another play, 2 plays in all. Monster TV winner going tonight, the Fortune 500 Game of the Year on Saturday. Both plays, just $10. Call 866-841-1665. That's 866-841-1665.
All right, guys, let's get started. And later on, we're going to hear from Jeff Sand from LVSS, and we'll get to our Twitter question of the week as well. But we've got the Cowboys and the Eagles matching up, 2 teams in disarray right now. On the one hand, you've got an owner who admits that if he wasn't the owner, he would recommend that the general manager be fired. But since he's the owner, he's not going to fire the general manager, which is himself. And on the other side, well, it's pretty tough to do what the Eagles did on Monday night. I mean, they moved up and down the field. They're closing in on 500 yards of offense, and they get 1 touchdown. That's a bad football team right now. These are both bad football teams. And I'm going to start here with a quick analysis. I think the total's the way to go in this game. This is not that complicated to me. Both teams have a terrible time finishing off their drives. And this has been a consistent problem for them all season long. So why is it suddenly going to change? I think there's going to be a lot of yards in the Dallas and Philadelphia game. If there were an over and under proposition on yards, I'd probably take the over. But these are teams that don't know how to get into the end zone and end up having to settle for field goals or just turn the ball over, which eats up clock and gets no points. So I think you're going to see more of the same in this game. Al, I like the game to stay under the posted total.
Well, I can't disagree with you, Dave. I also played against the Eagles on Monday night. I wasn't surprised that they lost for the 4th straight time. But even worse for Philly fans is that the Eagles have covered just once in 8 games this season, and that was that comeback cover against the Steelers game. They still lost anyway. Now, certainly Dallas isn't a bargain with a 3-5 straight up and ATS mark. And the key to this game is surely going to be turnovers. Both Dallas and Philadelphia have committed 19 turnovers this season. The Cowboys are minus 11 in turnovers, while Philadelphia is minus 9. And that's really the reason each team has struggled. So something's got to give here. But the one thing I do like about Philadelphia is that at least it has a balanced offense. Last week it rushed for 221 yards. It passed for 226. The Cowboys, again, will not have DeMarco Murray in the backfield. And Dallas's rushing attack has been non-existent over the last 3 games with an average of 56 yards per game on 22 carries. And they're favored by a point on the road. I can't lay points on the road with such a team. So for me, it's Philly or nothing. Chip?
These 2 teams, how did ESPN say it was going to be called the Panic Bowl? Because they're both coming in 3-5. And predominantly, I think the loser is totally out. Not that I think that either of these teams have a chance to make it to the playoffs as it is. But these 2 teams are turnover machines. They just give the ball up in key situations, in the red zone, and it just time after time again. And these are 2, or have been in the past, 2 of your stellar clubs in the NFC East. Dave, I'm thinking these turnovers are going to create points, instead of creating defense. And so I have a tendency to think that the game's going to go over. And as you know, with my reputation for totals, you probably got the winner.
That's a vote of confidence, Chip.
Me and the Taliban, we're both celebrating today, I guess. I don't know.
The Big East, the NFC East, I should say, last week all their teams lost. Washington, Dallas, the Giants, and the Eagles. They all lost. It's really surprising what's happening in the NFL. These teams are so inconsistent. Al pointed out the rushing. Last week, 221 yards on the ground for the Eagles, 65 for Dallas. Dallas is not a very good running team. On the year, 83 yards a game. They give up over 100. The Eagles are a better rushing team, 132 yards a game, giving up 115. But here's a stat that not a lot of people talk about, yards per point. On offense, both of these teams take over 20 yards to score a point. That's really bad.
Yep.
And on defense, they give up a point every, let's say, average 14 yards. They're both about equal in that respect. They're both about equal in giving up turnovers. As far as the total is concerned, and I understand what you're saying, Chip, sometimes turnovers can create points, and that is true. But the way it's been going, I look for both these teams to have struggle on offense again. I think the coaching on both sides is absolutely horrendous. I think Andy Reid needs to step down. I'm not going to blame it all on Michael Vick because 4 of their 5 offensive linemen are out, have been hurt. He's getting crushed. Quarterbacks are generally not good if they're on their back. And I'm not a big Michael Vick fan, but I'm not going to just lay it on the quarterback because I don't think they deserve all the credit or all the blame ever. I think Andy Reid is a bad football coach now. I think if offensive coordinator and defensive coordinators were bad, they already fired one. Jerry Jones is running a team that he never should have run. He won't fire himself, but he better start firing somebody because they're atrocious. These 2 teams are, there's a word, cluster blank.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what they are. It's bad football. It's just plain ass bad football. I look for the game to go under. I have to lean very ever so slightly to Philadelphia only because of their ability to run the football. Now, the game could be 10-7 at the end, but I don't think Dallas should be favored on the road. I think that's just a bad line. I don't know why they're favored on the road. They're both bad, and the Eagles have a better running game, and I think that's what I'll stick with. But I do like the under a lot.
Before we get to our Twitter question of the week, we're going to check in with our man in the street, as we always do about this time. Jeff Side from LVSS. Jeff, what do you got?
Thanks, Dave. A free total coming up. But first, you can get a college conference game of the year winner going Saturday, as well as the AFC game of the year on Sunday. Both are just $10. Sign up early and get a TV winner going tonight as a free bonus. Plus, the AFC game of the year comes with a guarantee: win or get 1 week free in college football and the NFL. Just call LVSS at 1-866-575-8916. Your free total comes from the Rams at 49ers matchup. Both teams come off bye weeks, but St. Louis has had a grueling road stretch, playing the Patriots in England in the last game, and now they have to change time zones again to the West Coast. This is not an explosive Rams offense, as new coach Jeff Fisher loves a ground attack, just like first-year offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. This Rams offense is in the bottom half of the league in rushing and bottom 10 in passing. Meanwhile, the 49ers are all about running the football under coach Jim Harbaugh, just like last year, a top 10 rushing attack, but a bottom 10 passing game, along with one of the best defenses in the NFL. Play the Rams and 49ers to stay under the total. Once again, you get a college conference game of the year on Saturday, the AFC game of the year on Sunday, both for just $10. And if you sign up early, get a TV winner going tonight as a free bonus. Plus, the AFC game of the year comes with a guarantee: win or get 1 week free in college football and the NFL. Just call LVSS at 1-866-575-8916. Back to you, Dave.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jeff. As always, good luck this weekend. Twitter question of the week. You can follow us on Twitter at Jim Feist Sports. You can also friend us at Facebook at Proline TV. And this question came from Alan McBride, who lives in Nashville. Are there any NFL teams that are close to packing in the season or tuning out their head coach like we saw in 2011 with the Chiefs and Todd Haley? I don't know about I don't know about tuning out the head coach, and that's tough to read unless you're there. But one team that is, I don't know if it's packing in the season or not, but it's kind of an admission we're not going to make the playoffs and we're going to start evaluating for next year, is the Washington Redskins. Mike Shanahan has said we're going to start putting different people on the field. Shanahan's looking at it realistically. They're not a playoff caliber team right now, and they want to see what they can put around RG3 on offense, plus looking at the defense for the future. I don't really think it's a bad idea. They're not tanking games, and these guys are playing for jobs. But, and anybody else can chime in on this, I do think it does lessen the power ranking of the Washington Redskins right now to some extent, because they're going to be focusing more on looking at talent than perhaps game planning for specific opponents. Any other teams?
It was the Redskins all the way, Dave. Like you said, he's the first one to come forth with that. But some of these teams look like they packed it in from the very beginning. Come on, I haven't seen any effort out of some of these folks just turn around and lay down while they're out there. And it's very disappointing because this is the NFL. You got to be hitting people every single play. We see it happen every year where teams just the second half of the year take it off. And the Redskins, like you said, he's already come out and said he's going to evaluate people. How many of the players are taking it off? That's another story.
Let's move on to
everybody's playing for their jobs.
Well, that's right.
Whether the teams lay down or not, or don't have the passion to win, individually they all want to keep their jobs. The Jacksonville Jaguars come to mind. They have a new owner, and we talked about this the other day, Dave. The new owner's basically said he's going to clean house.
Yep.
So I expect the coach, offensive and defensive coordinators to both be, all of them to be gone. They might stick with Gabbert because at times he looks okay, and maybe with the right package there that they could develop. But Maurice Jones-Drew,
gone.
I don't see him staying in Jacksonville, and he is a weapon. He's not even playing this week. That's a Thursday night game. This team, to me, they get no fan support at home. They've played pretty well on the road, competitive. I mean, they almost beat Green Bay on the road. They have a pretty good record on the road, ATS. But at home, they're atrocious. And, there's going to be a complete slate cleaning in Jacksonville. So as far as somebody that's quit on the season, I think maybe some of your Jacksonville players may be a little less enthusiastic than they should be when they step on the field. Last week there was a strange situation to me that tipped me off on that game and made me go in a different direction. Jacksonville traded one of their wide receivers during the week to the team they were playing that week. So basically all he had to do was take off his uniform and walk across the field and put on a different uniform. And what did they get for that wide receiver? A 2014 draft choice. Well, this is 2012, and they don't have many weapons anyway. So I don't understand that if you're trying to do something this year, you don't make that kind of move, unless you're bringing in somebody that can contribute immediately. So obviously, that's not a team worried about 2012. And there is even an outside chance that Jacksonville won't be in Jacksonville very long as a team.
We got two teams that will definitely be staying in their present locations, and they are meeting this weekend. This is the big game on the schedule. The Houston Texans taking on the Chicago Bears. The Texans laid an ugly, rotten, stinking egg in their other big game against the NFC North when they took on Green Bay. They got absolutely annihilated in that game. I think they really need to make a statement here. The problem is they're going up against a defense right now that is just on fire. The Bears are forcing turnovers like crazy. They're taking advantage of them. Chip, you talked before about turning turnovers into points. Boy, Chicago doing a lot of that. Cutler's been acceptable on offense. Matt Forte looks like his old self. They're a good football team right now. But I got to tell you, my inclination on this game is to take. I'm always a believer in ignoring the last thing I saw, and in fact using that to my advantage to gain line value. Houston was not particularly impressive again this past week, and they've had some strange games this year. I think that last weekend they were maybe looking ahead. They won and covered anyway, 21-9, but it wasn't a great performance. But you can't blame them for looking ahead to this game. The Bears, meanwhile, scored, 3,000 points in that game on defense? That was amazing what they did in that. But the problem here is it's in the line now. I think the Texans are going to give them a real good game here. So my side is going to be Houston plus the points in this contest. I don't know that they'll win it, but I think they're going to be right there. And I think this has the makings of being a really good football game, Chip.
Did you go to Jim or Chip?
You.
Oh, well, I told you I'm the totals man, and I don't know how you can't play this game under. I mean, Texans are fifth against the pass, third against the rush. The Bears are number one defense overall, and Bears are 30th in passing, 30th offense in passing. So in spite of this Marshall connection with Cutler, the Bears predominantly are trying to run the ball and control the ball, and I think these two are just going to be a slugfest, and I think this game stays under.
I don't know.
Well,
my read is more. I think the Bears are going to get the bulk of the action in this football game, with the line being where it is, and that has maybe the public wins big again this week, but pros versus Joes battles. When the Joes have a big week, the pros usually come back the next week. I think the pros will be on Houston in this game, and that's kind of the side I'm on myself. Not going to be a big opinion for me, I can tell you that. Al, what have you got on this?
Well, I mentioned that something's got to give in the Dallas-Philadelphia game with turnovers. Same story here. Chicago has forced an incredible 28 turnovers through 8 games, including 5 turnovers in 3 games this year. But unfortunately for Chicago, Houston just doesn't turn the ball over. It's committed just 6 turnovers in 8 games and has committed 0 turnovers in 5 of its 8 games, which is absolutely incredible in the NFL. So something has to give here. Interestingly, both teams have just one loss in the season, and to the same team, the Green Bay Packers. And Jim, you mentioned you thought the two teams' schedules were somewhat even. I don't see that at all. I think Houston's played a much tougher schedule this year. It owns wins over Baltimore, Denver, and Miami. Chicago's best win, when you look at its schedule, is a Monday night road win over the 3-5 Cowboys. So, I think all of that is what makes the odds makers put Houston as the favorite on a neutral field. The other interesting thing I saw is that even though it has a 2-game lead on the Packers, Chicago is still right now to win the division just minus 113, basically even money. So I think a lot of people don't think Chicago's in the category of a Houston or a Green Bay, yet. All that being said, I'm still going to back the home team here. I'm going to, ignore what Dave says. Dave says he likes to ignore the last thing he saw. So I can't ignore the last thing I saw, and I got to take Chicago minus the point.
All right, good debate on that game, and it should be fun to watch. Let's get to the best bets and remind everybody about what we're doing this weekend as far as special offers concerned. Al, lead the way.
Well, my best bet, I'm going to go back out to the Soldier Field. I'm going to take Chicago as the best bet on the show here. My high roller Fortune 500s are really the best bet. 89 and 43 in college football going back to 2005. And it just gets bigger and better this weekend. My college Fortune 500 Club game of the year goes Saturday. I've been having this game circled for weeks now. It's finally here. And if you call early, you're going to get the TV winner going tonight. That's 2 plays, but it's not $500. It's just $10. You must call right now. Call 866-841-1665. My college football Fortune 500 game of the year plus a TV winner going tonight. Both plays only $10. 866-841-1665.
We head to the big game player, and that's Chip Chirimbes.
Hey, Dave, thanks. Coming off probably my worst weekend in recent memory, I'm going to bounce back like a true champion. I'm going to give you 5 days at $3 a day, $15 from Thursday through Monday, including Saturday's home team conference game of the year for college football, NFL Megabucks on Sunday, all for $15. And I'll tell you what, if I don't win this game on Saturday, this game of the year, you get the rest of the month of November absolutely free. So give me a call, $15, 866-841-1665. You'll be glad you did. My complimentary, my free winner on the show. I have to do it. I'm coming with the Bears and the Texans to stay under the total. I think both teams are going to be struggling to score any points in this one.
It doesn't take the odds makers. Oh, let me get the best bet out of the way first. I'm going back to what I said on the matchup to the Cowboys and Eagles. I've not seen any indication that either of these teams knows how to finish off a drive and get 6 points. A lot of settling for field goals, a lot of turnovers. I'll take the Cowboys and Eagles to stay under the total. A lot of times you hear about, well, the odds makers have to catch up to a team in terms of adjusting numbers at the start of the season. I think that's true. The problem is it doesn't take very long. You want an example, look at the New Orleans Hornets in the NBA, who I thought coming into the season were tremendously improved with Anthony Davis in particular, player of the year, coming out of Kentucky. And it took them a whole week, 1 week, and they've already caught up to the fact the Hornets are improved because New Orleans is a favorite. As we're recording this, they're a favorite tonight against the playoff team from last year in Philadelphia. So you got to jump in right away if you want to take advantage. College basketball, I'm going to be firing this weekend because I know it won't take the odds makers long to catch up. And I don't understand people who, I'm going to wait. If you wait, you're passing up, to me, huge early season value. And you better take advantage of it right away because the odds makers are smarter than we are for the most part, and they won't take long to figure things out. But there are going to be some advantage plays this weekend. College basketball, full season, every action play I've got for the whole year for $99. You got to call and take advantage of this right now. We're talking about a $50 a play for the season. 1-866-896-1629. And in football, 2 conference games of the month in college football, my NFL super total of the year, all 3 games for $20. 1-866-896-1629. Strong stuff. Step in, make some money. And that's what you'll do with Jim Feist this weekend. And Jim is guaranteeing it. 4-1 or 5-0, guaranteed on a 5-game package. That is huge.
Dave, it's been a good year for me. And I got a 5-game package, 5 monster plays, 3 in college, 2 in the pro, including my Sunday night game of the year. I make big plays early and late. This week I saw a mistake in the number, and I pounced on it. And I intend to pass this type of information on to you this week. 5 plays, $19 with a guarantee. You're going to go 5-0, minimum 4-1, or November football executive service is free on me. The number to call is 1-866-841-1655. And the first 100 callers, we've been getting a lot of calls, so the first 100 callers get basketball as a bonus. That's right, 1-866-841-1655. I forgot to give you my best bet. I look at this Philadelphia-Dallas game. I totally agree this game should be an under. I don't see these teams moving the ball very effectively. They haven't done it all year. I shouldn't say move. They can move the ball. They just don't know how to score. This is a big division game. Dallas, Philadelphia, this is NFC East. Big game. Both are losing. Somebody has to win. There's going to be a lot of intensity in this football game. I look for this game to go under the total. And I'm going to tell you this, too. If Dallas keeps moving up in the spread, I'm going to be on Philadelphia. You just can't lay points in these division games like this when teams are fairly equal. And these are 2 equal but bad teams. I'm under in this game.
Don't forget to check out the college football edition of ProLine as well. Available right here on the site. We'll come back and we'll do it again next week. And meanwhile, for Jim and Chip and Al, I'm Dave Cokin. And thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.